Hello there, this is Kush from creativepadphotography.com. Welcome back to the Photoshop tutorial for beginners video series. We are on part 9, and in this video I'll be showing you, it's a short video, I'll be showing you 3 very basic adjustment tools. So we've been covering some adjustment tools in the last few parts, and today I'm just going to conclude it by showing you 3 very quick and easy tools to use. So let's get started. I'm going to open this landscape image which I have attached in the description of this video, so you can I've given the link so you can access this and work along. So we have this. I'm just going to quickly create a duplicate. All right, so let's work on this layer. So the 3 tools, let's start with the first one. So I'm not going to go through all the tools here because frankly most of them are not very important. The important ones we've already covered. There are certain tools which like levels and curves, which I'm going to be covering later in the advanced section. They're not too great for beginners, so I'll be covering this later. So right now I'm just going to show you, let's start with exposure here. So exposure is a simple adjustment tool. As the name suggests, it's basically going to control the exposure, like the brightness of your shots. If you have an underexposed shot, you just move around this slider, play around with this slider. Offset basically is about the shadowy areas or the dark areas of your shots. You can control that, and you can control the gamma. So all this is basically in some way controlling the exposure, right? You don't have to really understand the nitty-gritty of this. Go with your eye and correct it. To be frank, I don't really use this adjustment tool a lot, because what I do is when I have any exposure problem, I simply, like I showed you in part 1, I go to camera raw filter. I like those sliders much better, the exposure, contrast, highlights, shadowy, whatever. Once you've done with this, if you click on OK, you're going to get the effect back on your image. So I prefer using camera raw filter instead of the exposure adjustment tool. But the reason I showed you this is because if you're using any other version of Photoshop and you're having problems with, like, not the main, if you don't have the CC version, right? So in some cases you may not be able to access camera raw filter plugin. So if you don't have that, you can use exposure tool always, right? Next, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create once more. I'll show you the other 2 tools which I use much more often. So the first one is Vibrance. Very easy tool. We already covered this in camera raw filter in the first part. So Vibrance is just going to increase the, you can just call it like the saturation of the colors. So if I increase the vibrance here, you can just see the effect, right? So just the yellows here, and the overall vibrance of the shot just increase. If I go down here, then you can see it starts to just lose the colors, right? So anytime I want to make a shot more colorful, I'll just push the slider this side. And so let's say if you want to add a bit more of this sunset yellow, so I'm just going to increase it a bit, right? So if I just compare it, if I just hide this, that's our effect. So very subtle effect, but you can notice it. Let's make it slightly more. So now you can clearly see the yellows getting stronger. So it, you know, it just enhances your shot, right? So that's Vibrance for you. There's nothing too complicated about it. The next tool I'm going to show you is Photo Filter. So Photo Filter is a tool that's basically going to add a colored filter to your shot. So by default, you can see the warming filter is set up here. So the moment I open this, it already applies this, so our shot got a bit warm. So that is basically adding this yellow filter here. So if I just hide this layer here, you'll see the difference. Can you see? It's just a bit cooler, and this makes it just a bit warmer. So since this is a golden hour shot, a lot of times you can just add a warming filter. Let's say there are different types of warming filters. You can go through them and you can increase or decrease the intensity of this filter. So of course you don't want to push all the way like this, neither do you want to have something too less. Something in between just enhances that golden hours effect a bit. Just be subtle about it. Can add a cooling filter. Cooling filter is going to do the opposite, so that's going to have the blue color here, right? So if your shot had a bad color cast or it was looking too warm, so then you can just add a cooling filter and it's going to do the opposite. So I can increase or decrease the intensity of this. You can actually select different colors. You can just select, actually choose a color on your own. Let's say let's do something crazy. Let's try to this. See, now it's putting the green filter. Of course that doesn't look too good, but that's what the color filter does. It's just going to add, just think of it like putting a colored filter in front of your lens. So it's just going to add that effect. So let's say that in this shot we felt that this part of the sky needed to be more golden or yellowish, right? Just like this part. So what you can do is you can just change it to filter. Let's select yellow, maybe not yellow, let's select orange, then just add. So what I want you to do is just keep your eye only on the clouds, because what we're going to do is we're going to remove the effect from the rest of the image, because this was already warm. We just need to add the effect on the clouds here, which were looking slightly cooler than the rest of the image. So just keep your eye only on this, and I think now it looks good. And then what we're going to do is, of course, the wrong way, because we have not yet learned layer masking, but we're going to go with the eraser way right now, since this is a beginner's tutorial. So we've been just like we've been doing in the earlier parts. What we're going to do is we're going to select this layer, the layer underneath, which is our original layer. We're going to make a copy of this, and we're just going to put this on top, right? And then what we're going to do is we're just going to select the eraser here, and I'm just going to, let's say, turn the opacity not all the way down, but all the way up slightly. Let's be subtle about it, so 70%, and then I'm just going to start erasing the top part of this so that we start revealing the photo filter effect from underneath. Might have just overdone things. I think it looks pretty okay actually. The only issue I think there is in this shot is that this color is probably not really matching this. So what we can do is just go back to our photo filter. Yeah. So if I just click on this icon, I can access my adjustment tool box here. So what I can do is I can now change this color to match this. So let's say I think this is slightly more on the yellowish side. Yeah, so you can see now that is slightly better, and probably somewhere here, maybe. So you can see now this exactly matches our color here, right? So if I hide this was, right, so if I hide this was when the effect was on the whole image, but that's not what we want. So this is with the erased part. So now it's only restricting the effect of this filter right here, right? So this was our original. So you can see the sky lacked a bit of warmness, and once I add this filter back, it just gets it more yellow. And since we have put two images on, we've superimposed two images, so we're only restricting the part here, which later on we'll be doing in a much more efficient way using layer masking, right? So that's about it. Simple tools to use, and do practice this along with the images that I'm giving you, so that you just get used to working with layers. It just takes a bit of time to just let it become second nature, but with some practice you'll be able to just get it. But I hope you're getting the idea of how to use these adjustment tools and how to isolate their effect on certain areas. So this has definitely improved our image, right? So in the next part is the part where we'll be actually learning about layer masking. So the next video will be a pretty important video. That's another reason I quickly covered these tools here, because I did realize when I was making these videos that you really need to know layer masking from now onwards, right? So the next video will be about layer masking. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and if you like this video, then of course give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.